Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday night at 9 p.m. I'm just telling you that because a lot of people don't know what day it is. It's Thursday night at 9 p.m. when we're recording it. And I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're listening to the final episode of GeoGearHeads, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
I think I've heard of that. At any rate, tonight, here on the Not GeoGearHeads podcast, we're going to talk about geocaching in famous places. Famous places! Or something like that. That is to say, finding geocaches in locations made famous in the movies or television. Hey, live chat, you know what to do. Jump in and share your thoughts, comments, famous places, favorite places, and places that are favorite and famous. Anyway, we want to hear from you because you always make the show better. It's time, though, to bring in our cheeky chimpanzee. Some say he sleeps in nothing but a blazer. Others say he was hosed down before the show for your safety. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Had a quick dry off and we're all good to go now.
Is that a Chevy Blazer or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really difficult to get in the bed, but you know.
I've had a bed in my Chevy Blazer.
Oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. Okay. It seems a lot easier now that you explain it.
It's so much easier.
All
Gotta
right.
spell these things out sometimes.
Well, as long as you got some crayons, you can draw me a picture and we'll get it sorted out eventually. All right. Well, hey, before we get anything else sorted out tonight, a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep the podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors, and our good friends at Land Sharks want to remind us that Backroad map books, digital and paper maps, are available. Spring and summer adventures will be so much more relaxing with quality maps to take you along on your journey. They sell both the paper and digital versions. Land Sharks with the Z. Check it all out. landsharkswiththez.ca.
It reminds me of a Jeff Foxworthy line, you know.
Does it?
Yeah, if directions to your house include turn off the paved road.
You might be a redneck.
Yeah,
You might be a geocacher.
Yeah, you might be a geocacher. There you go.
Even better. Well, hey, and let's not forget about our other corporate Denali level sponsor. Speaking of turning off the paved road, let's go turn off the paved roads and explore Gold Country. Hey, paved roads and non-paved roads, beautiful places to explore. If you haven't been, follow Gold Country on Instagram. Just at Gold Country BC on Instagram. Check them out on Facebook. It's Explore Gold Country. And of course, their website, which is exploregoldcountry.com. They have tons of locations. And you know what? Their Instagram feed was the inspiration for tonight's topic. So we're going to cover a few locations up in Gold Country as we get into our list a little bit later. But great place to visit. Plan your visit. Cache safely, cache often, all that kind of stuff. But most of all, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, well, we would encourage you to go on over and click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com, a website.
Hold on, something just updated and I lost my screen. Okay.
Oh no.
Where are we? We're at the time. We're at the time I need to take that graphic away. We are at the time of the show where I like to call the glow. Now,
What's the glow?
some of you may ask what the glow is. Let me tell you.
Some of
It's
us
the
already did.
geocaching. log of the week. Whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Now, you can send an email or a recording you do on that fancy, smarter phone than I have phone. You can send it to feedback@cachingNW.com, or you can call in with that fancier than mine phone to 253-693-TFTC.
And do what?
And show us how you glow.
Okay. Thanks to the chat lackey for bringing up the visual aid for the viewers live here. And, well,
Chat Lackey is so nice. Thank you, Chat Lackey.
they could even be viewers later. And if you're just an audio viewer later, audio listener later, audio partaker later. Ooh, there's a good word. We appreciate you too. You just can't see the visual stuff, and you're probably better off for that. But the glow this week is from Lazy Bones, who found a traditional cache called Frogger's Creek Ravine. I do not have a GC code, so you can Google that. Do the search thing on the geocaching homepage and find it. The log says, saw the difficulty and terrain and was worried. But with all of the recent finds, I was encouraged that I could make this find today after work. I headed out and mistook Keith as St. Patrick, or Keith Street as Patrick Street, and parked at the end of the wrong street. Luckily, this error didn't mess me up too much. Only took me a few minutes to understand my error and quickly was able to get up to the right level. Entered the ravine much farther south and west than I imagine was suggested in the photos, but made my way down with little to no mud involved. And may I say, that's usually a good thing. It's not usually how I cache, but it's usually a good thing. Lazy Bone says, I trekked up the ravine till I got close to ground zero, and after getting the photo hint and finding my position, I started my exploration of the area, ever gradually expanding my search outward. Eventually, texted a previous finder, but received no response. Finally, I looked in a place I didn't really expect would be able to house the cache, and boom, there it is. Signed and replaced.
Songs.
Yeah. Or sell Tough Actin' Tenactin. Spotted my 57th bird ID in my life list today while searching. I spotted a Pacific wren. Cute. Thought it was a mouse at first. Happy to have another ID under my belt. You think that's the whole log? Oh no. Started making my way out along the path that was closest and made the most sense back to the park area. Found the mud. Yeah. I was pretty much clean up to this point, but my boots got covered in mud. Kept making my way up when I looked back and spotted someone cuddled up in a hollowed out tree just below me. Having read Zeppelin 94's logs, I was shocked to think this homeless person could still be here. I looked closer and didn't see any movement, which worried me. I called out repeatedly, quite loudly, to finally have the man sit up and acknowledge me. He was freezing cold. The fingertips were black and starving, immediately asking for me to call an ambulance. I called 911 and stayed with him until they arrived and they took care of him. He said he'd been sleeping in that tree for 3 days and didn't know how he got there. Without Zepp's log, I likely would have left him alone, so I guess we had some good geocaching tag teamwork going on. An important reminder that detailed logs can be helpful in many ways and to not discount people just because they look disheveled and homeless. Quite the adventure. Who knew that a 2.5, 3.5 would end with me calling 911?
Wow, that is quite the story, and good on you,
Yeah.
Lazy Bones, for
And we hope that all the outcome was good from that down the road.
yeah, no kidding. Wow, that was quite the story. My goodness. All right. Well, if you want to participate, and I see a lot of people are participating, as I think Chris shared earlier, use hashtag famous in the chat to add locations that you have cached or would like to cache in that have been in TVs and movies. We'd love to hear from you guys. Use hashtag FATAS for anything else that you'd like to bring up as a topic in the after show. And we would be remiss not to mention use hashtag podcast baking and tell us what's cooking at your place.
Now I'm hungry.
And you don't even know what's cooking yet.
Yeah. Can you smell what the rock's cooking?
I was going to say, knowing this crowd, it doesn't matter what it is. It'll be wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
exactly.
All right. Well, as I said earlier, go ahead.
I was going to say, Land Monkey,
Yes.
you came up with this show topic. Tell us why.
Well, as I said earlier, I was inspired by Explore Gold Country's Instagram channel. They've been posting, I think about once a week, they'll post a photo, and they're calling it real real, at sort of like REAL REEL.
Real to real.
Real to real, yeah. But what they do is they'll actually take a photo from a still shot capture from a movie or a TV show, and then they'll layer it on top of or beside a photo of the actual location. And they usually try and line up the horizon or the mountains or the trees or something so that it's kind of cool the way they've been doing it. Definitely worth checking out. If you don't follow Gold Country's Instagram channel, you should, because it's great.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff. But they've been doing that for at least a month, if not longer. And it got me thinking about how many places I've found myself and I've said, hey, wait a minute, I've seen this place before. Or I've been brought to a location by a geocache that said, the cache is here because such and such was filmed here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of neat. So I've curated a little list of places either I've been or I would like to go in British Columbia that have been film or TV locations. But guys, have you? Oh, go ahead.
May I throw in that BC seems to be a magnet for filming locations, right? I mean, it doesn't matter where they need woods. If they're in New England or, Southern California, they'll film it in BC.
Well, we have a really, really diverse landscape in BC. Mm-hmm. Like, what Gold Country, even within Gold Country, it's diverse. Mm-hmm. You go from like the high desert plains, which could be any Western or a variety of it. They filmed science fiction there a lot, down to the coastal mountains and the fjords. And yeah, it's great. What a great Pacific Northwest we all live in here.
Exactly.
Pining for the fjords.
I'm always pining for the fjords.
Okay.
I'm a Norwegian blue.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, wasn't it you or somebody on the podcast talked about coming across a standard blue United States Postal Service mailbox in Vancouver because they were filming some.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a
while ago. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember the show. Was it called Once Upon a Time? The one with. Yeah, so that was almost entirely filmed in Richmond, BC, in an area called Steveston, and I think it was called Storyville was the name of the fictional name of the town. And I remember one time I was driving into work, and a police car was driving down the highway in the opposite direction with Storyville police on the side. Like, all right, that's different. You don't see that every day. So that was kind of neat.
Once upon a while, like country.
Going back in time a bit, X-Files. The show X-Files was filled up all up in BC.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, it doesn't matter where you want that scene to be.
Yeah, we've already got tons in the chat.
Yes, we do. Should we jump to some of these?
Why don't we jump to the ones in the chat, and then we'll talk about some of ours, and then by then the chat will be filled back up again on us.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we've got tons. So we'll start off with Van Isle Lady, who says the Grassy Knoll in Dallas, Texas. Now, I've been there and geocached there, and it's fantastic. And really, this is one of the spots that I thought I knew the story. And when I got there, it was like, I really don't know it as well as I think I do. And when I got back home, really dove into what happened there at the Grassy Knoll, or nearby the Grassy Knoll.
Or what's alleged to happen.
Yeah, exactly. It was just one of those things of like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I've not been there.
It's worth it, and good parking, plenty of geocaches around there.
Cool. I think a Geo Tour there too, isn't there? Has a stop?
Maybe. There probably wasn't when I was there.
Okay.
Daniel throws in a famous place is Joshua Tree National Park.
I have been there.
What an awesome park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big park.
Yeah. I was there before geocaching, though, so I've not cached there.
Oh, so that doesn't count. You may as well go
You
back.
gotta go back now.
It just means I'm old. That's all.
Oh.
What else you got?
Well, GSM times 2 throws out, most famous place I've ever found a geocache. I'm going to have to think about that one, and I encourage you all to do the same.
That's probably because the list is so long for him.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Keats says the most famous place he almost found a cache was Venice. Now, do you think that's Italy or beach in California?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've only been to the one in California, so.
Iham says the famous movie is Three Fugitives, locale Spanish Steps in Tacoma. Final from my multi. What's opera, Doc?
About 15 meters from the Spanish Steps.
15 meters from the Spanish Steps. Now, I didn't know that movie was filmed here.
Yeah. It's different than Three Amigos. That's a different movie.
That was not filmed in Tacoma.
Yeah. I don't know. Could have been. Do we have a singing bush?
They're more than famous.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Van Eye Lady says the Legend of Boggy Creek in Folk, Arkansas.
Well, you got to be careful how you say that name.
Yeah. I'm hoping I said it right.
If not, it comes out Arkansas, and that just stupid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was thinking more of the community and not the state, but okay.
Oh, okay. Boggy Creek, yeah. Boogie. It sounds like boogie. I don't know. Moving on.
That woogie music.
Yes. I was walking in a southerly direction, my lord.
Somebody else want to read for a bit?
Sure, I'll take the next one if you don't.
Throw it up there.
Wet Coaster. He says he's one of the over 40,000 people that have found the most found geocache in the world. Okay, so talking about a location famous within the geocaching world. I'd be curious though if anything noteworthy was filmed there. So I'd be interested if anybody knows that. Keats going along that same trend has been to the site of the original stash. I'm pretty sure nothing's been filmed at the site of the original stash other than a lot of geocaching vlogs.
Yeah, I was going to say we filmed footage there.
We did, but
yes.
I wouldn't quite put that up at the same level as
hours and hours of geocaching footage have been filmed there.
Yes, indeed.
This next one is for Land Monkey himself.
Cache Canada, which we did a little geocaching and hanging out with them a couple weekends ago in Victoria when they were there. One of the places they visited in Victoria was Craig Darroch Castle, which he was just recently informed is where some of the X-Men was filmed. Absolutely it was. That's in Victoria.
That's a fascinating location.
Isn't it?
I have toured the castle, but it was also pre-caching. So.
Okay. Well, then why don't you take the next one, Jim?
What is the next one here? We got the next one is Zuma Beach. Cache Canada also contributed this one. Zuma Beach in Malibu, where the last scene of the Planet of the Apes was shot. Taylor seeing the statue of apes and yelling, "Damn you all to hell, you blew it up!" I don't know what that reference is. I mean, you obviously Planet of the Apes, but I don't know that line.
So. No, at the very end, when he's walking along the beach and he sees the remnants of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Well, they must have blown it up with considerable force for it to have landed in Malibu.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
But, okay.
You might call it more of a launching than a blowing up, but okay.
Yeah. I remember the scene. I don't remember the line, but okay.
That scene now for me is forever modified with the ending to Spaceballs. where
I have seen that too, and I'm not.
They-
recalling
I'm
it.
not putting the two together.
they parody that scene in Spaceballs.
This is what happens when you get old.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's like, oh yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember what happened there, but yeah.
Brian Lang, the famous himself to many. Anyways, he quotes that Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis both were filmed in British Columbia. This is why most planets in two galaxies look like coastal rainforests. There you go.
I'm just gonna say those were filmed on distant planets. How could they?
Yeah, well, some say British Columbia.
On the
is
science
flagged with
fiction
the planet.
theme. Jim, why don't you take this one?
Doramore, thanks for contributing. Doramore encountered a smoldering car. There comes a smolder. With an alien draped across it in Richmond. Turned out it was the set of a TV show. The security guard helped us find the cache when the chute went on break.
Oh, so the alien was real then, obviously.
Yeah.
They brought in a real alien for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, direct from Area 51. Yep.
Oh, Melancholy. No, wait, I'm sorry. Monkey Cake said the historic Stadium District multi in Tacoma ends near the Stadium Bowl, which was the setting for much of the 10 Things I Hate About You movie. The parking lot that some of that scene was filmed in is no longer there. They built a parking garage on that spot. But the Stadium Bowl is the football field for Stadium High School in North Tacoma. It is a famous site. It's used in a lot of exterior movie scenes and stuff. And definitely 10 Things I Hate About You was filmed a significant portion of the movie right here in Tacoma.
Yes. The outside of the house in which they live is, in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now you wouldn't recognize it because they've, remodeled it so, but
Yeah.
it was there. UDAC says she has found a virtual at the house where 6 Feet Under was filmed.
Very cool.
So like the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you
Something
go.
like that.
Something like that. Wet Coaster. Yeah.
This may be stealing your thunder.
A little bit. That's okay. Wet Coaster. That's one of the ones that I had in my list for later, but we'll talk about it now. Hope, British Columbia, the site of the first Rambo movie, First Blood. Absolutely.
I never saw any of the Rambo movies.
Oh,
You're missing out. Some
We're gonna
quality
have to-
entertainment.
we're going to have to show you.
Okay. I would much rather go with Doramore on Earth Cache tours in Iceland because they visited one there in some unknown character Ingvilla Park.
Is
that Bing or
it's
P?
pronounced Thangvellir.
Okay. It's not tell me what the volcano was that erupted.
Yeah. No, you're
Never
wrong.
mind. Anyway, several scenes from Game of Thrones were filmed there. Another show I've not seen any footage from and have no desire to. But, hey, I would rather cache than watch Game of Thrones anyway.
We can get through Rambo quicker than we can get through Game of Thrones, from what I understand. And we have one more from Daniel. Famous TV show Snoqualmie Falls was the fictional town of Twin Peaks.
That's significant to Chris of the Northwest, too.
There's a.
Why do you say that?
Not Twin Peaks so much.
No.
Yeah.
But Snoqualmie Falls, yes.
Yeah.
That's where I proposed to my wife.
Aw.
And guess what?
What?
He said yes.
Ah. Whew. Suspense.
Yeah, she hasn't always made wise choices in life, but most of the time.
Too fun.
Okay, so
All right. So we're getting some more stuff populating in there.
we are, and I was trying to
Keep going
catch
at
up.
it.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So while Chris gets caught up on, and we'll get back to all the great stuff you guys are contributing into the live chat. That was a lot of fun hearing about all the neat places. I had curated a bit of a list of some places across British Columbia where TV shows and movies have been filmed. Some of these places I've cached, some I haven't yet. The first one on my list was not far from Vancouver, just a little bit up Highway 99. The Britannia Mine. There's an earth cache there, GC2GZ1Y. And speaking of fantastic films that are highly critically recommended, Scooby-Doo 2 was filmed there.
And the sequels are always better.
Oh, so much better than the original. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a big number 2.
Yeah, it's an appropriate number 2, yes. There's a great virtual cache in Stanley Park in Vancouver, in the city of Vancouver. So many shows and movies are filmed in Vancouver,
Yeah.
many of them in Stanley Park. The virtual cache I would call out, and there's tons of caches in Stanley Park, but this virtual is a great one. It's called Monuments, Plaques, and Statues Oh My, GC58E9. Some of the shows famously filmed in Stanley Park, The Sixth Day, Stephen King's It, and Stargate SG-1, all filmed in Stanley Park, amongst many, many other things.
Yes. Beautiful area.
Yeah. I wanted to shout out a little bit of Gold Country. I got a couple of places in Gold Country. One of them was recently featured in the Gold Country Instagram account, and that's Stump Lake. And they've got a geocache there, GC3P8MP. And interestingly, because I haven't watched this series through yet, I've started to watch it. The finale for Battlestar Galactica, the newer series.
Oh, I was going to say Lorne Green was in that.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
reboot was filmed in part at Stump Lake. And that's another one where they've got the photo inset of the actors in the scene overlaid over the actual scenery. It's so neat the way they do
Nice.
that. I just love that.
Stump Lake is my pet name for Geocaches there on the I-90.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Very appropriate. Sticking with the Gold Country theme, the CN Ranch near Ashcroft in the Thompson Nicola, and other various locations in Gold Country have been the shooting locations for Lost in Space, the Netflix series. I really enjoyed that series.
I did too. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, so that was filmed in part, largely in part, in Gold Country. So there you go.
Is Robot still there?
You'd have to go looking for him, but yeah, I believe you will find him there.
Danger.
Danger, Will Robinson. There you go. What else have we got? We already talked about Hope, BC, the site for Rambo First Blood. If you go into the town of Hope, there used to be a multi that featured Rambo. I don't know if that's still there or not. I had another location because I know a movie was almost entirely filmed there, but I don't know. And I have visited that town. And in fact, I know one of the folks who listens to our podcast lives there, Nelson, British Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful town. The movie Roxanne with Steve
Now, that's
Martin,
a movie I have seen.
that was filmed entirely in Nelson, BC.
Yeah, that was fun.
So if anybody can shout out any geocaches that maybe even of locations that were in the film, I'd love to hear about that and put those on my to-do list.
It's probably something near the firehouse there.
Yes, I would think there's got to be.
Yeah.
Let's keep heading north in British Columbia. Prince George, the town of Prince George. I found a couple of movies that were filmed there. The first was the film Double Jeopardy, if you remember that, with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd. And that one was filmed all over the PNW, including areas down by you guys. And in fact, the beginning of that film is supposed to take place in the islands. Not the Gulf Islands.
San Juan's?
San Juan's. Yeah. But some of it was filmed. Some of it was filmed on Bowen Island, of all places, just off the Vancouver coast.
Yeah.
But the correctional center that Ashley Judd is in during the film is actually the regional correctional center in Prince George. And there's a cache near there that isn't really tied in with the movie at all, but it's GC1A6GA if you're curious to see that. Now here's a real great one for our listeners, and this is the last one on my list. The movie Strange Brew.
Oh, take off, eh?
Bob and Doug McKenzie's epic homage to filmmaking and cheap beer. Strange Brew, that was filmed in part in Prince George, BC at the Old Fort Brewery, which is now known as Pacific Western Brewing. The closest geocache to that is GC99FF3.
You hoser.
That's right. So there's my list. Tons and tons. Yeah, thank you, Komakino.
Yeah, that's a movie. The other one I've seen not for a long time.
It
but I
bears
have seen
rewatching,
it.
I think.
Yeah, I should watch that again.
You know, there are so many locations that I think of. My brother and GSM times two, I think he's still in the chat here, lives in the area of Fillmore, California.
Mm-hmm.
That is another mecca for filming. I was there visiting my brother, and I think they were just finished filming City Slickers 2. They use the
Legend
City
of Curly's
Hall.
Gold.
Yeah, there you go. They use the City Hall as the train station.
Okay.
So that was interesting. You could go climb up on the sets and you look and you go, these things look ugly up close. But when you're filming, they look great.
30 feet away and squint.
That's right.
Kind of like me.
Wet Coaster says most of Strange Brew was filmed in Hamilton and Ontario, or in Toronto.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, in Hamilton, that's gotten really big nowadays. Oh no, wait, that's
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
That's a different Hamilton.
Well, people are singing there now.
Yeah.
When Land Monkey brought this up, the first thing that came to mind, Wits End and I did the geocache called Ring of Fire. And in fact, there's it's a geocache of the week with the Geocaching HQ blog. It's a 1961 movie. It was made in lots of different places. You know, should I tell you the plot of the movie or just move on?
Spoilers? No. Yeah.
Follows
Go
a
ahead.
small town sheriff in Oregon who arrests a trio of robbers, 2 men and 1 woman, in case you needed to know. The tables turn, the robbers take the sheriff hostage, a forest fire rages out of control, and the best part, calamity ensues.
Oh,
Calamity Jane?
I mean, you know, she sues.
Wow. Okay. So it's a legal thriller. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. In the final scene, a burning railroad trestle, yes, a trestle, collapses during the attempted crossing. Although most of the movie was filmed in Oregon, this scene is filmed in the Waihuchi River of Washington State. Bridge and trestle were blown up, sending 2 passenger cars and a 60-ton steam engine crashing down in the river below. Now, this is back in the old days when it was okay to do all this, right? Because
This was not special effects. They
I was gonna say,
actually
yeah.
they built the trestle, they blew it up. The trestle doesn't go anywhere.
And they left most of it there because that was also the thing you did back then.
The gorge was deemed too deep and the train too heavy to remove. So the passenger cars were cut in 2 because they were blocking the river. So they were cut in 2, each pushed off to a side and just left there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
there
we've
you
done
go.
that one. We hiked down there.
The train car is still there. So
Yeah.
while the movie may be a train wreck, this is an epic T5 geocache. It's definitely worth the effort.
That was fun. What else we got here?
What else? You know, we're in the Seattle area, and you probably know that coffee is a big deal out here. Yeah.
So I've heard.
And yeah, they say we drink more coffee in Seattle than any other city in the world.
probably more microbrew beer too.
I was going to
Yeah,
say
exactly.
no thanks to you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not drinking coffee. Anyway, Seattle is the home to the first Starbucks, which opened in 1971. And yes, the original Starbucks is still at Pike's Place Market operating. You can go into it today, and there's a geocache right nearby.
It's Pike Place, just FYI.
I'm sorry, you're right. It's Pike Place Market.
Singular,
Just a pet peeve.
not property of.
Thank you. I appreciate the correction. I really do. I try to get that right. And that's one of the things that, you know, me and my bad pronunciations.
That's okay. I'm guilty of plenty of my own.
And I would just like to remind our listeners that we love getting corrections. So, hey, write in, call in, let us know what we screwed up. We would love to hear from you.
It lets us know you care.
Yeah.
What else is...
IMDb entry for the Ring of Fire includes the latitude and longitude of the train wreckage.
as it should.
As it should. That's
Why
interesting.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, how else are you going to find it?
it's not like a street address.
You got to climb down a ravine.
Yeah,
All right. What else you got in Washington
Yeah.
State there?
240 Trainwreck Road or something. But
Oh, let's see. Well, obviously we have the Space Needle, which is
Mm.
now a virtual cache, right? That's been in a lot of movies. What do
yes.
you think of Sleepless in Seattle, Space Needle?
Yeah.
It's got a revamp since then. It won't look the same, but you know what? It's still worth going up there.
Yeah,
You
don't
know-
get any dinner reservations up there anymore. But
No.
No, is the restaurant closed?
it's all observation deck now.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Pretty sure the restaurant no longer is a restaurant, but I could be wrong.
There you go.
It'll show up in the chat if I'm wrong.
There you go. It will be. Yeah, or email us or call us. We want to hear. We want to hear what we got wrong. Speaking of the Space Needle and specifically Sleepless in Seattle, I'd be curious if the houseboat scenes were actually filmed in Seattle or if they were filmed
Yes.
somewhere else.
Yeah, I think they were.
Yes, and the houseboat is still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's still on the lake. I want to say there's a virtual cache right there. That's
should
one
be.
of the things I meant to look up. But yeah, so yes, the houseboat, I believe it's been painted, so it's a little harder to recognize,
Yeah.
but it's still there.
I wouldn't
Oh.
Houseboats
remember
are
what color
quite a
it was
thing.
in the movie.
Yeah, I can't either. Houseboats are quite a thing along the shores.
And the Space Needle observation deck, there's a portion of it that does still spin. That was the restaurant. They've added some clear glass floors so you can look straight down is all the rage now,
Right.
And yeah.
And they put some benches out along the edge, out along the clear glass wall, and you're supposed to sit there, lean back, and they put it at like a 0G position, whatever that means, where
I don't know.
you feel, but people freak out because they're leaning back onto glass. And
I don't know. I
Um,
work across the street from it and I haven't been up in it in years because it's expensive.
hey, Keats is reading our notes.
He
He says,
him out.
was Frasier actually shot in Seattle? Yes and no. Some scenes were. The windows looking out of Frasier's condo is actually Cary Park. And that's an excellent viewpoint for the city of Seattle.
Yeah.
That's GC62C8. It's a quick virtual, but you want to get to Cary Park. I mean, if you're going to go see Seattle, this is the shot you want.
I
So-
take out of 10 visitors there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no building there that Frasier was actually in, but they used that scene as the scene from the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Last summer, I took a little trip around the Olympic Peninsula, did some geocaching. There was a little movie filmed in the city of Forks. Perhaps you've heard of Twilight.
It's more than one movie, isn't it?
I think it is. I don't know much about it.
Happens every evening.
Oh, yes. So there are a bunch of themed geocaches in Forks at the locations, at the different houses and what have you. So
Yeah, we came through there when we did the Olympic Peninsula Geo Tour. What a wonderful Geo Tour. Beautiful area to go explore. And Forks was a delightful little community. So yeah, there's at least there's some caches in some park areas down by the waters, the waterfront that are related to the film. And one of the houses that was actually used in the film has a cache on the property. So that's kind of cool.
Doing the Geo Tour is much better spent than watching the movies. Just saying.
Yes.
All right. Well, in a driving montage from the 2002 thriller The Ring,
are you listening, Komakino?
Yeah.
the character Rachel can be seen crossing Deception Pass Bridge on SR20 from Whidbey Island to Fidalgo Island. And that's a very narrow bridge up there, as I recall.
Yeah.
You got to be careful crossing that. People have been clipped by truck mirrors and things
I
along
can
the
imagine.
sidewalks. Yeah.
That's a beautiful area. There's
It is.
earth
It's beautiful.
cache and all kinds of stuff there. Heck
Heck yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, not only has that been in, the ring, but there have been other movies filmed at the location of some of the ring sites, like a geocaching film festival entry.
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one. It wasn't trash at all. Up
Nope.
at Lake Gchq, Harry and the Hendersons. That was filmed up there at I-90 East Snoqualmie Pass area, Lake Gchq. It was also filmed in a lot of areas around Seattle. Snoqualmie Pass, North Bend, Index, all that stuff. But and there's some scenes of the Seattle skyline. I believe there's actually even used the exterior of an actual house up Queen Anne area of Seattle.
I didn't realize that. It's been
I'd
a
like
very
it.
long time since I've seen that film.
Yeah,
I
so
like
can
that
see if there's a
film.
cache there. That was fun. Bob's Java Jive right here in Tacoma in the Nally Valley. It's the teapot or coffee pot shaped restaurant. That's been, films like I Love You to Death and Cameron Crowe's Say Anything. It's been in a lot of movies. It's a unique, recognizable spot. And one of the most famous parts from the 1993 romantic comedy Benny and June was the diner scene filmed in Ferguson's Cafe in Spokane. The exterior shots of Mary Lou's milk bottle next door. I think I've been there.
Yep.
Can you say
there
Mary
was-
Lou's milk bottle anymore? I don't think that's right. Anyway,
I'm not sure, but yeah, that that
see,
location.
people are reading our notes.
There you go. There's a number of locations in Spokane that were featured in
huge.
various
Mhm.
movies.
Yeah.
And I think there was a Geo coin challenge at one point that had you visit a bunch of those. So
Exactly. So look out, Lisa and
Yeah.
Kid Vegas 19 do
Yeah.
nearly yearly. It's hard to say yearly anymore, right? I don't know if we're allowed to use that term anymore. A regularly scheduled geocoin challenge in Spokane, and one of them was called, I believe, Filmed in Spokane. I
that's what
I
it
want to
was
say
called,
that
yeah.
was the name of it. So
A lot of great
Fantastic.
stuff over there. You can also have great coffee and a slice of pie right in the heart of North Bend, where the iconic Tweeds Cafe, it was a set of the fictional town's double art diner. For what show?
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. Yeah, the cafe has gotten a makeover of sorts, so it looks even more like what the TV portrays
Of course.
now. So,
Yeah.
bring in those tourist dollars.
Indeed.
that also reminds me, Northern Exposure. My parents loved that
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
show, and that was filmed here in Washington in can't come up with the name of the town.
Roslyn? Was that
Yes,
Roslyn?
thank you, Roslyn.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, we've got a whole bunch more feedback that's come in.
Yeah, some of my favorite places in the planet are in the in the feedback from the chat there.
So yeah, let's start with Kitty West, who says the Great White Way virtual, multiple locations in Broadway area, New York. She's cached there, I guess. That area and theaters are in innumerable movies and TV shows.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Yeah, I
And
don't
just
think you can ever
to-
count that.
Yeah, just to come back to say everything we know has been filmed in BC.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, lots of science fiction and superhero movies and everything like that, just because of the diversity. All right. We've got Burnaby Mountain Secondary. Apparently, it was the where The Invisible was filmed. Thank you very much for that, Zeppelin. What else have we got?
And we have Cache Canada, who's actually cached at Cheers in
Ah.
Boston.
Yes.
You have to go in because everybody knows your name.
I
Yeah.
walked in there and nobody knew my name.
Yeah, I've been there too.
just saying, but yeah,
Sometimes you want to go.
I know.
Making
Cache-
your way in this world today takes
Yeah.
everything you got.
You know what? Just hang out 9 p.m. Thursdays right here.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll know your name. And if
Yeah.
we don't,
We'll make it up. We'll give you a new one.
there you
Or
go.
I'll mispronounce it.
Norm. Okay.
Everybody's Norm.
Let's see. Stevenson, Richmond, BC. Midnight Mass was shot
Steveston.
there. Steveston. See, I told you I'd just make it up. Scary series, but very well done.
That's not Ellen. That's Steveston.
Not Allentown.
Yeah.
Steve,
Alan,
Steve.
Steve.
Oh, UDAC says, forgot about the traditional cache above the Bat Cave from the 1960s TV show.
Oh, neat.
There you
That's
go.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd be a great
that's-
location to visit.
We got to go there. Road
Yeah.
trip?
Yep.
On it. Does the
Deal.
little guardrail fold down when you drive in there and everything?
Oh, it has to.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Lote Park? Warner Lote Park? I don't know that one. But the studio across the road was the location where the Addams family was shot.
Oh.
You rang.
Thanks, Lurch.
Melancholy or monkey cakes, however you want to pronounce it. See, we'll make up names there too, but we didn't make up that name. The Elvis Presley movie, It Happened at the World's Fair, was filmed at the Seattle Center and on the monorail in downtown. There are several caches at the center.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, the monorail beam. In fact, oh gosh, there was a Stallone movie where there was a fight scene and he jumped out of the monorail onto the roof of a building, and that's right across the street from my office. I see that. I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway,
That's cool.
I don't remember what the movie was, but it'll probably show up in the chat.
But you remember the scene, and that's really all that
Oh,
matters.
yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of remembering the scene, Dora Moore shares that there is an adventure lab that Gearhead, one of our local cachers, put out. It's called the Hollywood North Adventure Lab in Langley, my hometown. And it takes you to a number of places here, even in my hometown, where very recently and in the not too distant past, television shows, etc., have been filmed, including, if people are familiar with Riverdale, the spin on the Archie comics.
Is it really? I've heard, seen the commercial. I didn't know what it was about.
It took the characters from the Archie comics and then made up in a completely different storyline for them. But anyways, that was filmed up here in Langley at various spots and a bunch of other stuff. And so, Gearhead takes you around to places that have been famous in Langley films, which is pretty cool. So thank you, Dora Moore, for reminding us of that.
By the way, the Stallone movie was Assassins. Thanks to Comokino there for that. I knew that would show up.
UDAC points out there's also a traditional cache where the opening credits of MASH were filmed. So that would be South Korea.
Not in South Korea.
It's just north of Los Angeles. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That would be a neat place to visit. Have you been there, Jim?
I have not. And sadly, I think I was told a lot of the original buildings, tents, props survived for many, many years. And sadly, they were all lost in a brush fire.
Oh.
It's been a while now, but for a while you could go up there and see the actual filming locations.
That would have been neat.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Wits End, this one's for you.
There you go. GSM Times 2 held a geocaching event at the railroad track where the Back to the Future DeLorean was destroyed. We did it on the date and time of the first episode. That's, of course, Eastwood Ravine, in case you wondered. Yeah, not Clayton Ravine. Yeah.
What? Well, and here's another one for you.
And that's the one I saw earlier too. That there's also a cache at Doc Brown's home in Pasadena. That is a very famous home. It's been used in a lot of scenes. I think it was also used in the TV drama Numbers. I could be wrong about that, but that house, I want to say it's a Frank Lloyd Wright house. I may also be wrong about that, but it is a very famous house that's been used in a lot of movies and TV shows. So I'm glad to know there's a cache there. And did you find one of my other locations in the list of stuff? There you go. Griffith Park Observatory, while Rebel Without a Cause was filmed. I love Griffith Park Observatory. That is one place that I went a lot. I went as a grade school student when I was growing up in Southern California to field trips to the planetarium and the science museum there in the building. And I went up there later in life. I went to laserium shows. I took dates up there. I took friends up there going hiking on the trails. That's one of my favorite places on the planet is Griffith Park. So nice to know that there's lots of caches up there. I will have to go and come home successfully, unlike James Dean. Oh, yeah. I don't think he died in the movie. That was a different scene. But anyway, yeah. Neat place. The
Well,
Gamble House. That's
We're
the
still getting tons here.
Yeah.
I know we're almost going to have to cut it off, but
the
I want to
Gamble
hit
House.
some
I
of
think
these.
was the Doc Brown house.
Yes, I think so. Wino says right at the Philadelphia Art Museum stairs next to the Rocky statue where the
Right.
opening and closing of Rocky was filmed.
Running up the stairs.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt throws in Depot Bay, Oregon, a charter boat scene. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Oh, okay.
Neat. Okay. That's cool.
That was a good movie.
Yep.
That's it in Astoria.
Well, and Astoria, of course, famous for
Astoria.
the Goonies, right?
Goonies.
That's lots of locations.
Yes, of course I meant to mention the Goonies.
Yeah.
I mean, there are well, not hundreds. There are several locations in Astoria based on the Goonies. The film was in Gastown in Vancouver, BC.
Yes, there you go. I remember.
I don't
Remember
think
that
that's
show.
That's
what it
different.
was.
No, that's different.
I remember that the aliens got drunk on spoiled milk.
Hmm.
Why do I remember that one?
That's a
bit?
pretty obscure detail from that show.
I liked V. It was mid '80s, right?
Yeah, it was kind of ahead of its time. I think the special effects hadn't quite caught up with what they were trying to do. I think if the idea had come out now and they redid it now,
They have done it, and it didn't take off.
wow.
You know, why come up with anything new? Let's remake something old
Yeah,
and make it worse.
Yeah. Kindergarten Cop was also filmed in Astoria with
Oh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's not a tumor.
White Coaster says the Castle and Strange Brew is in Casa Loma in Toronto.
There you go. That's a very Toronto sounding name.
Casa Loma.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. That is, oh my goodness. And there's still a few more coming
Oh,
in.
yeah,
They're still coming in. Yeah.
We could keep going for another hour probably, but
I really hope that we have filled out a list for people of places to go and geocache to enjoy seeing these locations, and maybe reminded people of movies that they're like, oh yeah, I always meant to watch that, or I watched that, I don't remember it. So hopefully tons of great locations, great geocaching plans now that we're starting to be able to travel again and go find places and explore. There's a ton of great ideas of great places to go and see.
That's so true. Hey, and folks, thank you for tuning in this evening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
That was a lot of fun.
mission accomplished.
And
Land Monkey would like to tell you.
I would. I would like to take a moment to thank the Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. Remember, Land Sharks with the Z.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And remember, they're shipping online orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures and filming locations, check out exploregoldcountry.com. And of course, we want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country Geo Tour, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachly, the geocaching app. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, go on over to our website and click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com, a website.
Like LG 9000 did.
And Broncos fan for life.
And on a boot.
Aerobrick.
Trexer.
Kitty Quest.
Just finding our way.
Logwork.
Our favorite geocaching rapper, MC3 Cats.
GeoNav Bros.
Keats 94.
Contributing mash trivia tonight, it's UDAC.
The Geo Travelers.
Sky Hawker.
Another great Instagram channel to follow, Sprouter.
Korsgat.
Limax.
B Pendragon.
Doramore.
Antaeus.
Ari. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Donners.
Why no Seattle?
The Tick Magnet.
Camp Clan.
You talks two rocks.
Coming up on the show next week, I believe, CRS 98.
Finally, we worked out all the schedules. Ackerdock.
Fairwood West.
Boomer 365.
Seaback Tribe.
Genies.
Say Gay Hove.
Green Words.
Candle Barb.
It's a little creepy, Chris.
Oh, that was not my intention.
Putting out fantastic caches down south of me, Team Knolltex.
T. Sayer.
Wet Coaster.
Kid Vegas 19.
Up past his bedtime. GSM times 2.
Kev MacD.
Subway Mark.
Gas Station Tuna.
Hemnerv.
Peach of, I believe, Washington.
It's hard to tell
And
sometimes.
3 hams. And a rose.
Well,
Folks.
if our listeners want to find out a little bit more about us hosts, Jim, where can they go?
CachingNW.com/hosts.
There you go.
Ooh.
You can find me on most social media, but I've kind of taken a hiatus from checking it, so don't expect a quick response.
So you can go there, but
You can go there, but yeah.
too funny.
And of course, the geocaching.com message center.
The best way to get a hold of Wits End.
That's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Yeah. Because that just pops right up on your phone. It's unique. Yeah. And folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. If you didn't like the show, let us know what you want us to talk about. In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. You subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a review. Whatever you want. You can always call into 253-693-TFTC. Ask us a comment.
Leave us a question.
Leave us a comment. Ask us a question. Or take us out to one of these famous spots any time of the day or night. Just don't leave us there. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show. And as we saw tonight, even livelier chat. We couldn't have had this show without you.
Indeed.
The show's produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. The show's show's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2022 by Chris Umfenauer. Whew. And now I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
You know, it's not like we've read this over 400 times.
Well, bless your heart, Chris. You did a wonderful job. Take a break.
Hey,
You've earned it.
I know what people from the South mean when they say that.
Well, I am from the south of British Columbia, so yeah, I guess that counts.
Let's see. UDAC wants to know when GCHQ will award the next batch of virtuals. When it darn well pleases them.
No, I thought it was mid-March.
Yeah,
Supposed to announce it?
What's it say here?
March 1st.
March 1st. People get an email.
Not even
Fingers
mid-March.
crossed.
Coming up fast.
Eyes
Couple of days.
crossed.
Indeed.
Not on purpose, though. What?
Why no Seattle asks a good question here.
Does Caching in the Northwest have its own Instagram, Facebook, Twitter hashtag?
Well, the hashtag varies.
Well, we
week
have
to
our
week.
own Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
accounts.
And yeah, there you go. Thank you. Entries, stuff, you know, posting things.
Tagged. But yeah,
But
I
a
think
hashtag, I mean, do you have, is there such thing as an official hashtag?
well, yeah, I mean, I think if you
people
would
use it.
like to tag us with a hashtag, it's hashtag caching NW.
He posted it in there twice, and he can never get the copy and paste right.
Yes, the Insta Twit
Oh.
face, according to Braille.
Yeah.
There you go. What else have we got? Is there other stuff in here that I'm not seeing?
Well, let's see.
UDEC has a question for you, Chris.
How will you spend your free time now that he has one less podcast? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do next Thursday at 6.
Yeah, well, congrats to
gonna
you
be
and
weird.
Daryl. Congrats to you and Daryl on a
Yeah.
very long run for that podcast and all the work that's gone into it for 10 years.
10 years and 2 months is how long it's gone.
Excellent.
So we stopped at episode 526.
Nice
Okay.
round number.
Yeah, well, it works.
It was a streak.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we have a goal.
Yes, we've got to get past 526.
526.
It was Daryl had a change in jobs, and that really is what prompted it. He's like, well, you can take it. And I was like, I can't be on 2 podcasts about the same subject on the same night and expect to have unique ideas.
That would be tough.
So, yeah, I hated to see it go, probably more out of routine, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. I like talking to the people, but it's like, well, I've been doing it for 10 years. So you just keep doing it.
Yeah. That's a long run for a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, it will be missed, but understandable and definitely good for Daryl and yourself. And
It was fun.
All the very best. I got to get in touch with him.
And we're no battery questions tonight.
How about assault?
Okay. Wino
That's
Seattle said he went to the 22 a.m. event last Tuesday. Missed y'all. Was fun.
Well, we went to the 2200 event at the event at 2200 on 2/22/22, where it was coincidentally roughly 22 degrees Fahrenheit.
I looked today. There were 20 logs, but there were a couple of couples, so I think there might have been 22 people there.
There you go. I went to the event at 2022 on 2/2/2022. So,
yeah, we went. I also went to an event at 2 p.m. in the afternoon on 2/22. So I did 2 events.
nice. Yeah, there was tons of events that day up here. I could only get to one, which thankfully was basically 8:22 in the evening. So since work has been kind of crazy, it was good that I was able to do that.
Yeah, thankfully it was my normal scheduled day off, so I had time to go do that.
I was going to say, I know there were people who took the day off and hit at least 6 events in our area. So,
and isn't
Nice.
it nice that events are back?
Yes,
it
for sure.
really is.
Keats has a technical question here. Maybe some of the listeners can help him out.
Yeah.
He says his geocaching app says it's updating. It has been for days. He's wondering if he's the only one dealing with this. I
Yes.
have not seen that. So Jim says you're on your own,
That
Keats.
just a guess. You can always uninstall, reinstall. I mean, it's
Or restart your phone.
Have you
Yeah.
tried turning it off and on again?
Have you tried forcing an unexpected reboot?
Geocaching
rattling off.
adventures. It was a couple of weeks ago. Well, maybe it's just 2 weeks ago. I had issues with the Adventures app.
Yes. Many people were having that
Okay.
issue where it's like it lost the ability to access the database until you logged out and logged back in again.
That's exactly the solution, to log out, log back in. It would work fine as long as it, got information at one point, but then you move it.
Komikino
to a
thinks that
different
you're
location.
using the cartridged version of the geocaching app. Blow on the connectors on the game cartridge. There you go.
Keats, there may be some blowback, but we want to know what type of phone you have. Do you have an iPhone or an Android? So that may help.
There you go. Okay. Well, I'm sure it'll get figured out. Lots of support and a little bit of abuse in the chat. That's just the way it goes.
That's
right. It's like a family getting together.
Say, imagine if we didn't like each other.
Komakita says, I would say put it in and wiggle it, but that could just be taken wrong. So, so he won't say it. I'll say it instead.
Definitely restart the thing if it's an iPhone.
Mm,
And he's proud of that.
there you go.
Abbey Road. There's a location that wasn't mentioned this evening.
Yeah. It's a good one for sure.
I've got that on vinyl. I'll go check and see if there's a cache in there.
Yeah. It would be flat.
Yeah.
And then just use a silver Sharpie and sign the record. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Funny. All right.
Hey, folks. Thanks for joining us. We love the after show. We love this free chat. If you've got phone issues, let us know. Maybe we can help you.
And maybe not.
Until next week, go out and reboot your phone and get caching in the Northwest.